As FBAs, definitely here in America, and probably even I could say maybe South Africa as well, because they have a whole lot more folks there. Maybe Namibia. There's different places where these folks are at, where we're kind of centralized. These folks have an issue about always being in our business. Definitely, we can relate to that more so here in the good old United States of America. You have one, sister that's asking just some questions to the folks, and I really want to expound on what she's saying here. So let's go check that out.
Never got me started, but I got a question for the streets. White people, why can't y'all stay out of our business? You hate us, you don't like us. We make everything about right. Why can't you stay out of our business? In a grocery store, at the mall, at the move, why can't you just stay out of our business? We could be talking to the person. We could be doing our own transactions. Here you go. Why the hell are y'all so nosy when it comes to black people? Or are y'all just like this in general? Like, is minding your business not a sport that y'all practice growing the hell up? Y'all got the answers for everything except for minding y'all got business. And then it got to the point where you could be talking to the black community like, this is FUBU, by us, for us, and here y'all go. We don't want to hear from y'all. It's not about you. It's more to life than you. I know you seeing that now because you becoming the minority. Why can't you mind?
So let's get into what this sister's saying. I know many of you have felt the same way. You say, why in the hell they always in our business? Why they won't leave us alone? Don't they got something else better to do? No, they really don't. They really don't have nothing else better to do than mess with you. Okay, because what I've learned about life, when people have something going on and something better to do and something more important, they don't mess with you because they're so preoccupied and busy with their life. They're not even thinking about you. Okay. Now, what I will say, when she was saying that, do y'all miss other people? No, they really don't. They really don't. The one thing other groups have to kind of keep them out of their business, even though they'll try to get involved with it, but one thing they have to keep them out is their languages, right? So whether it's the Hispanics, whether it's Asians, the different, whether it's Arabs, whoever, when they're speaking their language, they get bothered by it because they don't like other languages being spoken around them that they don't understand because they're so freaking nosy. I mean, now they can go learn the language if they want, but they don't like that. But they're more inept to our business. Let me tell you why. We always talk about that we are, we have descendants of slaves, but they are descendants of slave masters. And slave masters always monitored the slaves. Slave masters always told the slaves what to do, when to get up, when to go to bed, when to eat, what not to eat, what they can do, how they can dress. They did all that. And they are, just as we are descendants of slaves, they descendants of slave masters. You understand? And those who say, well, you know what? My family wasn't any kind of slave master. Well, let me tell you about that. The system that was created is still the same system like the slave master. So any of those who imported here from Europe, they got along and got into this system and treated black people the exact same way, right? Because when you still had the different white groups that came here, they wasn't allowed into whiteness, like the Irish and the Italians and all these different ones. And then when they grafted them into whiteness, they made sure to, hey, I'm gonna go ahead on and treat black people the exact same way so I can keep my honorary, white card, right? That's just really the way it is. Now, you have to accept that's what they're gonna do. Now, you as a black woman or black women who could be watching, the one that's gonna be in your business a lot more is the Becky and Karen. But let me go tell you the differences with Becky and Karen. Becky, a lot of times, want to be you. She's very, very jealous of you. She's trying to mimic you, right? She wants to be, a lot of them want to be with your men. And some of them at the same time can't stand you, right? At the Becky stage, they know their privilege. They know all of that. They may have some slight contempt for you here and there because they can't be you, right? But they don't really have that outward expression of racism as like the Karen stage. You understand what I'm saying? At the Karen stage, they didn't hit the wall already. They can't be you if they wanted to be. They're upset that they're 50 and look 65. You're 50 and you're looking like you're 35. That's one thing they get very upset with you about as black women. Their men a lot of times, trade them in. And so they're angry about that. They left them for a younger woman. Either a lot of times it's a younger white woman. It's not a black woman. And so when they get to the Karen stage, they're way more racist towards black people in general. That's why you see the Karens calling the police and the Karens doing this and the Karens doing that, right? When it comes to us as black men, the white men, they're worried about us too, right? They're worried about, black men messing with the women. About the envy they have with black men. Like the white woman said, I'll never forget that in that video, that they more worried about the black man's D than the women are, right? When black men become successful, they get very, very threatened. When black men, walk with confidence, that bravado, that swag, that's very intoxicating to a lot of people. Can't stand that. That's why you had all the mess with Shedura Sanders. I'm going to do a whole stream on Shedura Sanders tomorrow evening on AD&C. They can't stand that, so they're always watching us for that. So they're always monitoring, both of them, the men and the women. Much as they monitor, much as they stalk, much as they harass, if this was a relationship, if this was a girlfriend that was doing this, or a former boyfriend that was doing this, the courts would grant you in particular, a restraining order against them for what they're doing. People have gotten restraining orders for less. And these people will not leave black people alone. And let me tell you where you really trigger them. Go fly internationally. Even going to Africa sometime, they want to ask you what you do. Don't get in business class, first class. Even if you do first class domestically, the first question they want to figure out is this: what do you do? Because in their mind, you do something, because you don't belong up here in business class. You don't belong in first class with us. So either it's getting cheap, where we need to raise the prices, or you some sort of rapper, you some sort of girlfriend of a rapper if you're a black woman, you some sort of athlete, you're something, right? Because how did you get up here with us? If they see you staying at certain hotels like the Ritz-Carlton, you taking certain trips or whatever, they looking at you all like trying to figure you out. That's what they're going to, and they'll come up to you nice about it. They're not going to come up to you mean. They'll say, "Oh, so what you do for a living?" They nosy. My thing is, you don't tell them what you do for a living. It's not their business. Why do I have to report to you what I do with my income? Now, when they ask you that question, this is how you answer it. What you do for a living? You know what? I was just about to ask you that same question. What do you do for a living? Because I was so curious what you did for a living. And let them answer it. Right? Let them answer it. Anytime they ask you a question, flip it right back on them every time. Okay, let's say if they answer it or whatever they do for a living. So what do you do? You give them the most vague answer you can give them. So vague. Yeah, I work in internet sales and stuff like that. Really? What are you selling? Well, just various products online. This would be so vague. Well, it's like Amazon or something like that. Or like whatever they come up with. Like, yeah, that's what I do. Yep, Amazon. Whatever they say. Like just mess with them. Oh, you really want to mess with them? Like, oh no, I actually work at McDonald's. You really want to mess with them? McDonald's? Are you the owner? No, actually, I'm a line cook. I flip burgers at McDonald's. You really want to mess with them? Like, you got time, right? If you really want to give them the energy and really mess with their mind, tell them something like that. Or tell them, yeah, I'm a stocker at Walmart. Just mess with their mind. You don't got to tell them no truth. You know what I'm saying? Now, they can look at you a certain way and say, I don't believe all that. But, hey, it ain't about you believing it. Stay out of a black person's business, because we sure not asking you what you do for a living. It's not our business at all. Another way they try to get into your business, they'll try to maybe even volunteer to tell you what they do for a living so they can find out what you do for a living. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think black people should be volunteering any information about what we do, any kind of personal information. Because look, they can make a call and try to sabotage you, bro. So don't ever tell them what you do. You know, when people ask me if I want to tell them, I say, yeah, I own a media company. That's what I tell them. I own a media company. Really? You say, yeah, I own a media company. I don't get into the details of it. I say, oh, really? What y'all produce? Oh, you know, maybe documentaries, travel things. We do things. You know, I just come up with very, very simple things that we do, but I don't get into the nitty gritty about, well, what's the name and what you talk about? It ain't your business. You ain't gonna really want to know what I talk about, especially me. Do you really want to know what I'm talking about? Now, I probably need to give you to one of the other journalists, and maybe you'll like them, but don't come to me because I'm breaking down, you know, anti-black racism to the molecule, and and most of them can't stand it. They get so defensive about it. There's no reason to get defensive if you're not that way, right? But they're always going to be in your business. That's why they had that little thing about, you know, when you're black and never really lonely because there's always a white person in your business. That's why that came out. Because even when you are minding your freaking business, like, and I say I've seen this more with the women more than anything else. Like with me, you know, I maybe I move a little different. I don't have them getting in my personal business other than when I'm in certain locations and they want to ask questions. But and it's more so because of that. When I'm in certain locations, when I'm, you know, different places, or they get curious. Like, well, shoot, how did he get in here? Who y'all know him? You know, that's what that is. But yeah, I wouldn't trip on it, brothers and sisters. I wouldn't trip on it. Just don't volunteer no information. Understand, unfortunately, it's a stalker that we just cannot get rid of. You understand what I'm saying? And give them the same energy you give anybody else that's trying to get in your business. If you're just not in a good mood, that they say, ma'am, why are you in my business? Like, I'm not here on this plane to talk to you about my personal business. I'm here to get to and from. Well, why you got to be rude? I think it's rude asking somebody what they do for a living and they didn't volunteer that information. Like, how were you raised? You don't ask somebody what they do for a living and how much, basically trying to figure out how much money they're making. You pocket watching. No, don't pocket watch me. Don't do that. 'Cause I'm not in the mood to be pocket watched. You're not the IRS or nobody like that to be asking me about my money. So if you're not the IRS or anybody that I should be reporting my money to, then just leave me alone. It's just bottom line. But yeah, y'all gotta let them folks know, stay out your business. Because when you tell them, you know, they get shocked. But you wouldn't be shocked if you just go ahead and mind your personal business.